Hey there, and welcome back to Nightmare at Charles 2, where we're going to be taking on Custom Night, where we have to deal with 10 characters. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. I did see someone leave a comment about how, for something like this, realistically, you don't go on camera, which I don't really know if that's going to be necessary. We'll see, because, again, the only reason why I go on camera, right, is pretty much to look at Pedro. But at 20 difficulty, who knows if that'll even make a difference. Alright, already. Hell's about to begin. Now here's the thing, I have to assume, right, that it's possible to somehow do this. Even though, you know, we have limited shock, right? Remember the strategies. Oh, didn't use enough steam. I was a bit slow there. Actually, I don't think. It's still not enough. Also, with regards to Pedro, I can see why you may not, like, honestly, going on camera is not really a great idea. Because you barely, like, they move so quickly, it's like, what's the point? I just have to get used to Pedro's sound cue. Still? What the hell? Damn it. I didn't know where he was. I didn't. I was like, I think I did that too early. Oh my god. It's so, I'm telling you, it's so hard to tell whenever Pedro's there. Oh my god. Also, I think I think I see why they said to not flip the cameras. In fact, I'm curious. Hold on. Damn. I think I'm starting to notice something. I think I've noticed a very serious flaw with this game's gameplay. One that I only know about because of that comment, right? So the comment said not to flip your cameras up. And I think I'm starting to notice why, because something I noticed, like, now that I've read that comment, thinking back, anytime an animatronic, like, shows up in your office, right? It's right after you flip up your camera. Or you flip down your camera, rather. And I'm pretty sure that's in FNAF 2. And technically speaking, it's an issue with FNAF 1 as well, right? Or it's also an issue with FNAF 1, because FNAF 1, Bonnie and Chica can't get you unless you flip up the camera. Same with Freddy. Obviously, the only issue is that Foxy's in the game, which prevents you from cheesing the game like that. In FNAF 2, you can't cheese the game with the camera either, because obviously you have a puppet in the game. But in this game, there is no countermeasure preventing you from, you know, actually taking abuse of that system, which is interesting. Actually, in fact, we'll test it right now. There you go. See, as soon as I flipped down the camera, not only did I get jump scared, but one of the animatronics entered the room immediately. That's such an easy way. This is such a cheesable night. Damn. Yeah, you honestly, you can't really hear his running. With all that audio, like, I don't know if it plays it all the time or whatnot, but I couldn't hear it. I only... Okay, so yeah, okay, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. Pedro doesn't play sound when he's running to you. I think he only does that if you catch him not being at the camera. Which means in Pedro's case, you'd have to like find a pattern. And I'm willing to bet you can find it if you just time it. Let's see. So around 20 seconds he got me, okay? So now we're just testing how to cheese the game now at this rate. So 20 seconds, right? 21 seconds really is more accurate. 21, 22 seconds. Let's see what happens if I try to start again, for example. Let's see. Will it still be around the same time? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, so around 23 seconds that time. I don't know. I mean, oh my god, I hate that when that happens. I'm sorry. That's just so annoying. But the fact of the matter is, I have to do this anyway. Actually, no, you know what? There is no way to do this properly. I mean, how do you do this properly? There's no point in using the cameras. Also, I didn't use a timer, so we're just kind of guessing here. Interesting. So the running you hear is when he like scurries away from the office. So when you hear running, it's more like, yeah, he's not, you know, he's going away. Can you go away? I mean, I don't know if this strategy could work, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's no way. Look how often they arrive at the doors. There's no way there's no way the battery's lasting all, you know, all of this time. $3 a.m. Yeah. That is kind of anticlimactic. See, like, I wasn't even using a timer. I was pretty much just trying to refresh over and over again, which I think you could do it if you time it, but it's like, I mean, because of that, technically speaking, I don't even need sound, because to be honest, there's no reason for me to like listen for Pedro leaving, right? It doesn't really do me any good. I wish that would stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like, sound technically doesn't do me much good, only to like confirm, oh, they left. And as for battery cannot last till 6 a.m. playing the game as intended. It's literally impossible. The game forces you to cheese it if you want to survive, which is kind of ironic, to be honest. Essentially, as long as the toxic meter is increasing, you're safe. That seems to be the indication. The thing is, though, without sound, I am kind of like flying blind. But yeah, I don't know. Now that I've kind of realized this arguably makes the gameplay in this game kind of inferior to the first, despite the issues I have with the first, right? Frankly speaking, this one is just easily cheesable. Like, it's fundamentally flawed because of the fact that technically you have to do this in order to beat 1020 mode, which is like, you know, you're just pressing one button at like random intervals, which isn't really entertaining, and it's just unbearable trying to listen to the game the whole way through, because obviously you have this sound going on the whole time, which is like, how are you expected to listen through the whole game like that? I mean, literally, again, it's mainly flawed just because literally you don't have the resources to play the game legitimately. There's no way for the battery to last the entire night if you were to get rid of every animatronic that arrives at the doors. Essentially, the gameplay works in a way where it's like, yeah, you don't want to get rid of them all the time. As long as you don't put up the cameras, you don't have to, obviously, but, you know, I mean, if I don't have to do it, then why give me the option? You know what I mean? Also, with regards to this toxic meter, you don't want to let the toxic meter get too high, because obviously, if the longer it goes, the higher it goes, the longer you have to cool down, which puts you at risk of getting caught by Pedro. So you kind of want to stick to like the green and yellow area. You do not want that meter to go red. There we go. He literally caught me 4 a.m. I was kind of screwing up because I was trying to look at a comment because I found the video on 1020 mode, and apparently they were literally like counting. They were pretty much like apparently they have a strategy where literally every 20 something seconds they would have the Steam ready to go, pretty much. So according to this creator, right, Costa Vesta, they say that the reason why this is the case, right, is because the game was designed like FNAF 2, where when the characters are in vents, they can't do anything to you until you put your cam up, and the only character who can kill you, even if you don't put the cam up, is Rockstar Pedro. So now I get it. I guess we'll try one more time. We'll try it with this strategy. After 20, it's like about every 21 seconds, they pretty much use the Steam. I think he just ran off. I'm not too sure though. Alright, so next would be like around 43 seconds. We're gonna do it like, I'm gonna try and be like 44 seconds. Let's see if it's actually that like reliable. Yeah, okay, so 47 seconds he kind of ran off. Pretty much the only reason I'm using sound now is to confirm that he actually runs by. Well, it's 5 a.m. and this is by far one of the most unexpected max difficulty. Like, I wouldn't say I've had that many odd experiences with Custom Night. Oh. I guess we got a secret ending. Click the buttons in order. Oh, we're doing like maintenance? Wait, what buttons? These buttons? Okay. I mean, this is easy enough. Oh. Close the chest cavity. How do I do that? Oh! Oh, hold on. Secret footage. Maybe this is of the phone guy. Oh, actually, I'm pretty sure Teresa's the one that kills phone guy, right? That's probably what happens. Alright, before I give my thoughts, we can move on finally to extras after getting our 3 stars. We have Rock Time Charles, Rock Time Ashley, the Rock Times, right? Billy, Pedro, and Morton Jr., right? Look at that little fella. How adorable. Teresa Tiger, a new addition to the crew. And then you have the burnt ones, right? The ones from the first game. Billy, Ashley, Pedro, and Morton. Back when he was actually able to walk. Next we have sketches, which is kind of like, you know, pretty much like concept art, first like things here. And then we have some facts. Fact 1. The first game took about a year to complete in terms of modeling and making the functions of the game. Fact 2. The idea of making my own FNAF fan game started way back in mid-2015, but they never took off until August 2015, where it all started with my first game, Five Nights at Fredbear's, and finished in November of that same year, but did not do well, and the game was cancelled after a few months after. I tried again with FNAF The Beginnings in mid-2016, but ended up being a carbon copy of FNAF 2 and met the same fate. Fact 3. When production began on Nightmare at Charles in August 2017, the original main cast, or group, was going to consist of an elephant, a hippo, a tiger, and a wolf. But one of my friends said it would be too complex to model an animatronic version of the first 2 animals. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And this was before FNAF 6 came out, so I decided to make the main lead singer an orange rabbit named Charles Rabbit. Fact 4. After Charles, Ashley, and Billy were modeled, I still wanted to do that wolf character, but I had a really tough time designing him and eventually scrapped the idea. That is when the idea of a panda animatronic came out of nowhere, and soon I started modeling Pedro the Playful Panda. He was originally named Jake, but I thought it didn't sound right, so I renamed him. Morton was made at the last minute, and was named Melman for a while, but I decided to rename him Morton. And those are pretty much all the extras, and so we are left with my thoughts on the game. Ooh, whoops. So, what are my thoughts on the game? So far, at least when it comes to gameplay, pretty simple yet again, very much like the first game, only this time the game's balancing instead of being against a player, it's kind of for the player, because obviously you can cheese pretty much every night in this game by simply not flipping the camera at all and just trying to figure out the timing for Pedro to pretty much try and attack you. Once you figure out how Pedro's timing works, you pretty much have every night in the bag. I will say I do like the idea of the steam mechanic. I think that is still pretty cool, like trying to manage like this toxic meter while at the same time making sure that you use the steam appropriately to get rid of the animatronics. I think that's cool. It's just that unfortunately that mechanic gets very limited once you start cheesing, especially in 1020 mode where you are forced to cheese, because the other mechanic, which relies on shocking the door, which will, you know, the battery, it's literally impossible to use that whole it's impossible to make that battery last a whole custom night. So, you know, in terms of that mechanic, it's, you know, it's whatever. In the main nights, it works fine, right? Nights 1 through 6, you know, night 6 you're kind of skimming the edge a little bit, but it's fine, right? It actually works. But in custom night, it's literally a broken mechanic at that point that there's no point in like interacting with. I think in general, the game has pretty bad balancing when it comes to its mechanics. The fact that none of the animatronics can kill you if you don't flip up your camera is pretty insane. Like 9 animatronics can't do a thing if you just don't interact with cameras. I think that's just bad balancing in general. But again, not something I realized in nights 1 through 6. It's just something I noticed in 1020 mode. But at the same time, because of that, there is no real main challenge. The biggest challenge I had was night 6 essentially. 1020 mode is pretty much a joke if you cheese it, which you pretty much have to. And then we move on to the story, where in this game, right, this kind of reveals that for one, Phone Guy dies, right? This is after the events of Charles Pizza Zone pretty much catching fire, I believe, or closing down due to the death of that employee, that maintenance worker. I'm still trying to figure out what's exactly going on, because we have Charles Rabbit's monologue in the first game, who kind of talks about how there have been other restaurants in the past that have tried to capture Freddy Fazbear's magic, but somehow it always goes wrong. Kind of suggesting that someone's sabotaging everything, like they don't want Freddy Fazbear's success to be replicated. Who knows, maybe that's happening, maybe that isn't, but it's kind of something that Charles Rabbit might be hinting at. However, in the second game, I'm not really sure what's happening. I think this game, right, kind of revealed the new location, or a new location, which opened, I think, 7 years after Freddy Fazbear's closed down. I don't remember the name. I think it was like Rookie Rabbits or something like that. I think that's another location that maybe we'll be investigating in the third game. But aside from that, there isn't a lot of story elements really being described. It's more like sprinkles at this point. And I'm hoping that the third game will hopefully open up the story a lot more. But of course, with all that said, those are pretty much my thoughts on the game. And of course, if you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Lets me know you're enjoying the content and want to see more of it. A very unexpected anticlimactic 1020 mode, but we did beat it. It's just unfortunate that because of the balancing, there is no proper way to beat 1020 mode without cheesing it with the cameras. But of course, that's pretty much that. Next time, Nightmare of Charles 3. And so with that said, I'll see you in another video. Game description below as always, and take care.